Appropriate liquor chair, galley kitchen, drinking fountain, and a lavatory. A lavatory, yes, you can go to the bathroom on a toy car. Each year, car 503rd Connecticut Company official and 720-mile inspection trip over Connecticut's entire trolley system. Car 500 is 42 feet long and weighs 37,000 pounds and seats 20 passengers. Next car coming down should be car number 316. Yes, car 316, operated by volunteer Stephen Loyce. Union Railway car 316 was built in 1895 by the American Car Company of St. Louis. It ran in the Bronx in Westchester County, New York. Operating speeds for this type of single truck car were in the range of 15 to 20 miles per hour, twice as fast as cable cars and 4 times as fast as horse-drawn streetcars. This made it possible for large numbers of people to commute from residential neighborhoods to work, shopping, and schools. Cities and suburbs began to expand along these newer streetcar lines. Car 316 is 30 feet long, weighs 17,000 pounds, and seats 20 passengers. Number 1792, operated by volunteers during Brooklyn Rapid Transit Car 1792 was built by the Trolley Car Company in 1899. The car's cab was enclosed in 1905 and air brakes were added to replace the handbrakes in 1912. In 1925, this car was retired from public service and was used to haul sand for the next 4 decades. Car 1792 was used briefly in Nassau County in the early 1920s. This car has the last Long Island trolley in existence. The car is 35 feet long, weighs 26,000 pounds, and carries a total of 32 passengers. Next car coming up is 4573, operated by volunteer Barry Zuckerman. Car 4573 was the museum's first Brooklyn car representing a large trolley system in the United States. It is a 4-motor convertible type car, running in its summer configuration at the Shoreline Trolley Museum. Girls would come off and the car would be replaced with full panels for cold weather operation. Built in the Laconia Car Company in 1906. It started as a service on Flatbush Avenue and ran until 1934, when it was converted to a work car. 4573 was selected by Brantford in 1947 as a rare and well-preserved example of this type of car. Car 4573 is 43 feet long, weighs 48,000 pounds, and coming up next down the line is car number 2350. Due to automobile competition, street railways began to lose passengers and revenue. In response, the small light car was designed to include small items and the safety car was supposed to generate savings because it used less power and was operated by one person. Operated by volunteer Ken Rosie, Connecticut Company Car 2350 is an example of a Bernie-type safety car. Built in 1912 by the Oxford Bradley Car Company of Worcester, Massachusetts. The car ran in Middletown until 1930. It was then transferred to New Haven, where it was used on several lightly traveled lines. 2350 is 28 feet long, weighs 16,300 pounds, and can seat 32 passengers. Car number 775 was built in 1905 by the Jewett Car Company of Newark, Ohio, for the Connecticut Company, for use from New Haven to guess where, right here to Brantford. It has the distinction of being the only car in our collection built specifically for the right-of-way that we are on today. Although newer cars replaced suburban cars like this after World War I, car 775 remained in rush hour commuter service from Brantford to New Haven until the service ended in 1947. Car 775 has been operating on this right-of-way for 119 years. 119 years. Coming down the line is car number 629, operated by volunteer father and son team, Dana and Mike Bowers. Yes, a father and son team here at the Shoreline Trolley Museum. It was built in 1939 by the 3rd Avenue Railroad in New York City. The car ran on 59th Street, Manhattan until 1946, and on Southern Boulevard in the Bronx until 1948, when trolley service ended in the borough. The car was shipped to Vienna, Austria as part of the United States assistance and rebuilt to the United States and was donated to the museum in 1967. Car 629 is 43 feet long, weighs 38,000 pounds, and seats 46 passengers. Are you ready for this next car coming up? Put your teeth together and your lips apart and called it the Shunter. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Shunter. Trolleys withdrawn from passenger service were often converted into work cars. Sometimes parts were salvaged from retired cars and used to keep other cars in operating condition. These types of locomotive shunters were hand-built, and this car was constructed by the Montreal Tramways in 1913 on top of a truck from an old suburban car. It was used to move unpowered vehicles and car trucks inside a repair shop. The shunter is operated by volunteer Christopher Mitchell. Coming up next, we have line car 25. An indispensable car on any historic electric railway is the line car. Operated by volunteer Rich Rettenauer, the line car 25 was built in 1923 by the Iowa Car Company, operated on Iowa Railways in Canada. It can regularly be found in service on the Brantford Electric Railway as our volunteers maintain our own trolley wire. Line cars give workmen rooftop access to construct, adjust, and make repairs to the overhead wires. The platform can be raised to twice the height of the car and can be pivoted out to either side to work on an adjacent track. The platform is also insulated, meaning work repairs can go on, even while the trolley wire is fully energized at 600 volts DC. The line car is approximately 30 feet long and weighs 23,000 pounds. The next car coming up is type S36. Trolley cars are often required to maintain public streets between the rails, plus a specific distance. Eastern Massachusetts Street Railway car 607. Inside are two motors identical to the ones in the car, which power the brooms and sweep the track. On each side of the car are plow blades, which can swing out to clear the area next to the car. In 1948, the car went to the Toronto Transit Commission, where it operated as S36 until coming to the Shoreline Trolley Museum in 1973. Car S36 is 43 feet 6 inches long and weighs a total of 59,000 pounds. Oh yes, the sound of the horn. Trolleys, like most cars, aren't perfect. And here comes 1504. Sometimes they break down and go off the track and have accidents. Unfortunately, one disabled car blocks the track. Every car behind it is also stopped. The movement of the disabled car is vital to restoring service. When the car breaks down, we call AAA. Well, when a trolley car in Providence, Rhode Island broke down, they would call cars like 1504. Operated by volunteer Rob Paradise, car 1504 was built in 1912 and was the Rhode Island Company's solution to this problem. It was stationed in downtown Providence during every rush hour, loaded with tools to rebrand the car and ready to tow a disabled car back. The car was used in service until Rhode Island Street Railway stopped running in 1948. Car 1504 is 37 feet long, it weighs 45,000 pounds, and a crew of 6. There's no such thing as light work on a rail line. Crane cars are necessary for lifting rail and other heavy materials, setting poles, moving motors, and many other jobs. They're indispensable tools at every railway and every trolley museum. Car W3, operated by volunteer Bob Russo and Peter Lassalle. Montreal Tramways W3 was built in 1929 by the Differential Street Steel Car Company of Greenville, Ohio. It's quite a sophisticated machine with separate controls for shrinking the raising and extending the strength, raising and lowering the tow. The car can lift 5 tons. 5 tons. Holy cow. Car W3 weighs 82,000 pounds. 82,000 pounds. Yes, put your hands together. Our volunteers always like to hear the hands of and away they go. Our next car is operated by Wayne Sanford and Carter Meager. Car number 302, the Railway Post Office car, operated by Union Street Railway of New Bedford, Massachusetts. It ran from the railway station in Fall River to the New Bedford Post Office. There on to Wareham stopping for all intermediate post offices to pick up and deliver mail. Highly trained railway postal workers sorted mail en route to speed up the delivery. Trucks operating on improved highways would gradually replace RPO cars after World War I. Car 302 was built in 1907 by the J.M. Jones and Sons of Waterville, New York. The car was acquired by the museum in 1948. Car 302 is 31 feet long, weighs 31,450 pounds, and carried 4 postal workers. Did you know that during the early time of postal service, you can put a stamp on your child and send them cross country? Wouldn't that be nice to do now? Just 98 cents and away you go. Next up is car number 9, operated by volunteer Matthew Gribben. Montreal and Southern Railway Car 9 was built in 1911 by the Grand Trunk Railway System. This urban type of car is a blend of city streetcar and steam rail coach. Running on mostly hourly schedules between cities, these cars make stops in small towns and in rural isolation and rainstorms. Car 9 operated in revenue from Montreal over the St. Lawrence River to serve the suburban population until 1956. The car is 49 feet long, weighs 37,500 pounds, and seats 56 passengers. That's car number 9.
There you go. She threw one over. Right there. Right there. Thank you.
Coming up next is car number 709, operated by volunteers Matt Pastor as the motorman, Steve Neal, and Bob Breezy riding third as conductors. Chicago North Shore Milwaukee car 709 was built in 1974 by the the Cincinnati Car Company. Interurban Trolley was running on private right-of-way with safely operated. That much heavy expense from speed cars and ran into it. And plan the train configuration at speeds up to 85 miles per hour. The car is equipped with a passenger water cooler, fully operational restroom, plus cloth seats and a smoking and non-smoking sections. Car 709 remained in service until the last day of service on the North Shoreline in 1963. Car 709 is 12 feet 6 inches long. It weighs 105,000 pounds and can seat 52 passengers. Freight service was often provided to customers along Street Rail. Operated by volunteer Bill Coleman, Locomotive 12 was built in 1917 by the Baldwin Westinghouse, originally for Ogden, Oregon, and Idaho Railroad. Until 1946, when the car was acquired by the Cornwall Street Railway. The museum acquired Locomotive 12 in 1972. The car is 36 feet long and weighs 105,000 pounds. In the final of a series of cars ordered by the Hudson and Manhattan Railway, originally styled in 1908. The car ran from Hoboken, New Jersey, 33rd Street in Manhattan, the Hudson Terminal, prior to the building of the World Trade Center. The car was the predecessor of the 810 series as displayed in our World Trade Center exhibit. The car ended service in 1968 and was converted into a work car until it was acquired by the Frankfurt Electric Railway Association in 1979. Car 503 is 51 feet long, weighs 79,200 pounds, and seats 44 passengers. Coming up is car 1689-66. Cars can operate together as part of a chain. Operated by volunteers Jimmy Harris and First Car 1689 was built by the American Car Design in 1940. They were nearly 10,000 these types of cars built between 1932 and 1940. Car 5466 was built in 1924 by the American Car and Foundry, Berwick, Pennsylvania. It is one of several cars and similar cars used in the operation. As a low speed or low voltage car, designed limited to 600 volt capacity, low controls operate the car. Car 1689 is 63 6 inches long. The weight is 84,000 pounds and seats 56 people. Car 54 is 51 feet long. Weighs 78,000 pounds and carries 196 passengers. 44 seated. Car 6688. Yes, put your hands together. Operated by volunteers Roberto Tillman and James Randy. New York City Transit Authority car 6688 was built in 1955 by the St. Louis Car Company. This car is thousands of subway cars operating for over half a century in New York local subway system. These cars replaced the original cars built in the early 1900s, retired and preserved at the Shoreline Trolley Museum in 1987. This car has also made appearances in Season 2 of Russian Doll, Season 1 of Up There, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, The Joker, the Francis Ford Coppola's upcoming movie, Megapolis. It has also been used as a backdrop for Coach handbags. A replica of 6688 has been built and appears in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. 6688 is 51 feet long and weighs 80,000 pounds and seats 44 passengers. And coming up is the Atlas. The Atlas, operated by volunteer firm. The Atlas locomotive is also called G-23 Tunnel. It was built in 1941 for use at the Reno, Nevada Army Airfield. The locomotive got its name after the Atlas Terminal in Glendale, Queens, New York, when it was purchased by that company during the war. It ran until freight service ended there in 1982. This type of locomotive, also called a gooder or yard boat, that's what it is, was designed to move rail cars over short distances through freight cars where track radius was tight. These locomotives ran at a low speed, typically not more than 20 miles per hour. This little engine has a lot of uses here at the Shoreline Trolley Museum, especially when cars need to be moved in areas where there is no overhead wire. It's powered by a 150 horsepower Cummins diesel, which turns a GE traction 10-wheel. Ladies and gentlemen, this does conclude our morning parade. All cars in the parade will be returning for their pre-parade positions, so please be mindful of their movements. Stay and visit our volunteer information table, our Metro North safety table, purchase tables, and merchandise tables all underneath the big white tent. Shopping bags and much Trolley shuttle rides to the great visitors.
Edgewood switch tender. Throw that switch to this track. It's gonna come in raw rail. Okay. What? You want me here? No, you're gonna go back to your home.
Lift like 5 tons. I don't remember the tonnage of the actual trolley. Yeah, it's subway cars. Yeah, they have a lot of newer, subways well represented because they were easy to get here.
And relatively easy to acquire. But yeah, I don't really haven't noticed any San Francisco. Nice to see you again. I'll probably come down again.
Hold on, Ken.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming down the line is car 500, operated by volunteer Bill Dopkins. Car 500, the Trolley car of the Connecticut Company, was built by the J.P. Pro Company of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1904. It was built with open platforms at each end and was ordained with elaborate grillwork. The ends were enclosed and the car was lengthened around 1910. The car has inlaid oak woodwork, beveled edge mirrors, intricate shoreline and plate glass windows, Waterloo carpet wicker chairs, galley, kitchen, drinking fountain, and lavatory with stained glass windows combined to make this one of the most opulent vehicles that race the Zero Race. Each year, Car 500 carried the Connecticut Company officials on an extended 720-mile inspection trip over Connecticut's entire trolley system. Car 500 is 42 feet long, weighs 37,000 pounds, and seats about 20 passengers. That's Car 500.
I guess not, huh? You said that for the stuff.
Right now, starting with 316, operating a volunteer steam hoist. Union Railway Car 316 was built in 1895 by the American Car Company of St. Louis. It ran in the Bronx and Westchester County, New York. Operating speeds to the type of single truck car with a range of 15 to 20 miles per hour. Twice as fast as cable cars and 4 times as fast as the horse-drawn street cars. This made it possible for large numbers of people to commute from residential neighborhoods to work, for shopping, and school. Cities and suburbs began to expand along these new streetcar lines. Car 316 is 30 feet long. It weighs in at 17,000 pounds and seats 20 passengers.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Car 1793 was built by the Big Car Company in 1899. The car's cap was enclosed in 1905 and air brakes were added to replace hand brakes in 1912. In 1925, this car was retired from public service and was used to haul sand for the next 4 decades. In 1792, it was used briefly in Nassau County. In the early 1920s, this car is the last Long Island trolley in existence. The car is 35 feet long, weighs in at 26,000 pounds, and carries 32 passengers. Car 1792. Next up is car 4573, operated by volunteer Barry Zuckerman. Car 4573 was the museum's first working car representing the largest trolley system in the United States. It is a 4-motor convertible type car running in its summer configuration at the Shoreline Trolley Museum. Grills would come off the car and would be replaced with full panels for cold weather operation. Built by the Columbia Car Company in 1906, it started its service on Flatbush Avenue and ran until 1934 when it was converted to a work car. 4573 was selected by Brantford in 1947 as a rare and well-preserved example of this type of car. Car 4573 is 43 feet long, weighs in at 48,500 pounds, and seats a whopping 44 passengers. Due to automobile competition, street railways began to lose passengers readily. In response, a small light car was designed with improved small motors and interlock brakes to stop the car in the event of a mishap from motoring. The safety car was supposed to generate savings because it used less power and was operated by one person. Operated by volunteer Ken Rosen, Connecticut Company 2350 is an example of the Bernie-type safety car. Built in 1922, the Osgood Graphic Car Company of Worcester, Mass. The car ran in Middletown until 1930. It was then transferred to New Haven, where it was used on several lightly traveled lines. Car 2350 is 28 feet long, weighs in at 16,300 pounds, and seats 32 passengers. It was built in 1905 by the Buick Car Company of Newark for the Connecticut Company for use from New Haven to Brantford. It has a distinction of being the only car in the collection built specifically for the place we are on today. Although newer cars replace suburban cars like this after World War I, our 775 remained the first via service from Brantford into New Haven until the service ended in 1947. Car 775 has been operating on this right of way for 119 years. Operated by volunteers, father and son team Dana and Mike Bowers. Car 629 was built in 1939 by the Third Avenue Railway Company of New York City. The car ran on 59th Street, Manhattan until 1946, and on Southern Boulevard in the Bronx until 1948, when trolley service ended in the borough. The car was shipped to Vienna, Austria as part of the United States assistance in rebuilding Europe's rail infrastructure after World War II. The car was returned to the United States and was donated to the museum in 1967. Car 629 is 43 feet long, weighs in at 38,000 pounds, and seats 46 passengers. Yes, that's car 629. Coming up is a small figure of the museum that's known as the Shunter. Trolleys withdrawn from passenger service were often converted into work cars. Sometimes parts were salaries from retired cars and used to keep other cars in operating condition. These type of locomotive shunters were hand-built, and this car was constructed by Montreal Tramways in 1913 on top of a truck from an old suburban car. It was used to move unpowered vehicles and car trucks inside the repair shop. The shunter is operated by volunteer Christopher Mitchell. And coming down the line is car number S36. Trolley lines are often called public streets, plus a specific distance on each side of the outer rails. In the summer, streets frequently had to be sprinkled to keep dirt and dust from being blown out as cars. Almost always, the street had to be cleared out of snow just to keep the cars running, and it was also common to require snow removal between the track and the curb. Operated by volunteer Alex Palazzo, car S36 was built in 1920 by the Russell Car and Super Company as Eastern Massachusetts Railway Car 607. Inside are two motors, identical to the ones that move the car, which power the brooms to sweep the track. On each side of the car are plow blades which can swing out to clear the area next to the car. In 1948, the car went to the Toronto Transit Commission, where it operated as S36 until coming to the museum in 1973. Car S36 is 43 feet long, 43 feet, 6 inches long, and it weighs 59,000 pounds. Trolleys, like cars, aren't perfect. Sometimes they break down, go off the track, and have accidents. Unfortunately, when one disabled car blocks the track, every car behind it is stuck. Removing the disabled car quickly is vital to make restore the service. When your car breaks down, you call AAA. But when a trolley car in Providence, Rhode Island broke down, they would call cars like 1504. This car is operated by volunteer Rob Paradise. Car 1504 was built in 1912 as far as the Rhode Island Company solution. It was stationed in downtown Providence and every rush hour, loaded with tools, rebuilt the car, and ready to tow any disabled car. The car was used in service to Rhode Island Street Railway stopped running in 1948. Car 1504 is 37 feet long and weighs in 45,000 pounds and took a crew of 6. Setting motors, moving motors, they are indispensable tools everywhere and every time you see them. Operated by volunteers Bob Russo and Peter Easter, Montreal Trolley W3 was built in 1929 by the differential steel car company of Findlay, Ohio. It's quite a sophisticated machine with separate controls for swinging and raising and extending its boom and raising the motor. The car can lift 5 tons. Look closely, maybe you'll see the crane move from side to side or lift up its butt. Car W3 weighs in at, are you ready? 82,000 pounds. 82,000 pounds of pure power for our rails. Car 302 is operated by our grandfather-grandson team of Wayne Sanford and Carter Eagle. Oh, gotta get the boom back in. You ever had that trouble getting the boom back in after it's down? There it is, off and going. Next car coming up is car 302. Then on to warehouse. Highly trained railway postal workers serving mail and drinks in the open. Trucks operated on approved highways gradually replaced our rail cars after World War I. Car 302 was built in 1907 by the 4 U.S. postal workers. During the early days of the railroad in the West and throughout the United States, you had to be able to put stamps on your children and mail them to your relatives. Imagine that for your kids with your these. These cars made stops in small towns and in rural isolation in many small towns. Car lines operated in Revenue, Montreal, over the St. Lawrence River to serve the suburban population until 1956. The car is 49 feet long, weighs in at 37,500 pounds, and can seat 56 passengers. Numbers cars. Car 701 is 12 feet 6 inches long,
Yeah, 26 miles, right back. No, it's okay. That's good, yeah. Just change ends for me and leave it pumped up. Just pull up.
Holding on a red signal 21E. 65 is supposed to pass 21E danger.